If you ask the average fan about Angel Reese, you'll likely get a wide spectrum of responses. Some view her as a Rookie of the Year frontrunner and a superstar in the making, while others view her as inept of any offensive talent and a role player at best. So where's the truth? If you ask me, Reese is probably the most polarizing player in the league. Her scoring game is extremely limited, she has bad mechanics on her jumper and layups, and her efficiency numbers are uninspiring. Despite averaging 13.5 points, she's shooting just 42% at the rim, where all of her shots are. But, as we all know, basketball is more than just scoring and efficiency. These numbers fail to capture how dangerous she is as an offensive rebounder. Reese is already the best offensive rebounder in the league. I'll get to the numbers in a moment, but what makes her so effective in these spots is her knack for locating the ball in the air and gaining inside position. Watch how on this play, she starts out in the strong side corner, but then sprints to get under the basket to catch the ball when it careens off the glass. It's a fight to get inside position, but I like to call it a race to the restricted area with her defender, because that often dictates who's in better position to get the rebound. Because she is so relentless seeking these opportunities, defenders who are caught ball watching in these spots are at her mercy. Here's another play where Reese calls for the ball in the post, but when Dana Evans goes to make her drive, she spins back inside the restricted area to box out Stewie, and this puts her in position to get the rebound. Once Angel gets inside position on these box outs, she's already won, and even against good rebounding teams, Angel has been able to grab 3 to 4-0 boards despite being undersized at her position. She'll even sprint the floor in transition when a shot goes up. She moves Jackie Young out of the way here and grabs this offensive rebound with one hand, and she puts it back in with her left. I think Angel has arguably the highest revving motor of any player in the W, because it seems like she never stops hustling for opportunities like this. In their game against the Connecticut Sun back in May, her relentless motor on the glass had Alyssa Thomas so frustrated that she had to suplex her to prevent the rebound. So, with Thomas ejected from the game, it's the lankier DeWanna Bonner that has to box out Reese, and she gets easily moved out of the way by Angel and doesn't stand a chance when the shot comes off the rim. And this is part of the off-ball prowess of Angel Reese that doesn't get discussed. When we think of playing away from the ball, we think of relocating for an open shot. And while that is probably a more valuable aspect of it, what Reese brings as a rebounder is still immensely valuable both as a concept and for Chicago in general. According to the play-by-play, Chicago goes from an offensive rebounding percentage of 37 to 24% when she's on the bench, which is not only the largest change in the league, but it's the difference between the Sky being easily first in that metric to 6th in the entire league. And perhaps no play better captures the value of Reese's rebounding ability more than this play, where Dallas puts 2 players next to Reese on this jump ball, leaving Kennedy Carter wide open. So when the ball gets tipped to Carter, Dallas now has to match up, which puts them in rotation and she can get an easy layup. Reese's off-ball movement manifests itself outside of rebounding as well. She'll flash to the post unexpectedly to get a better inside position on defenders. Watch this play, where Alicia Clark thinks she has her covered until Reese cuts behind her for the open layup. Reese is matched up with Bonner on defense, but the person guarding her on offense is actually Alyssa Thomas, as we've mentioned before. But when this shot goes up, Reese sprints down the court to prevent Thomas from getting matched up with her. Thomas tells Bonner to take Reese, but at that point the damage is done, because by the time Chicago brings the ball up, Angel has Bonner posted up in her wheelhouse and gets an easy layup. Or take a play like this, where Jackie Young gets matched up with Reese in transition, which puts her in danger for the post-up. She tells Asia to switch with her, but they don't do it quickly enough, and Kennedy Carter gets a layup because of it. So, Reese has a ton of value on the offensive end that isn't captured. But if you ask me, it's actually her box score numbers that are a misleading representation of her offensive value. Reese is one of 9 players to average at least 3 post-ups per game, but she's last in efficiency. Now obviously, efficiency isn't the end-all be-all, but if you ask me, Reese is not someone you should be running offense through, so I think that's a big reason why Chicago's offense in general is well below league average. She takes the most shots in the league inside of 5 feet, but is shooting just 46% on them, which is the lowest mark of any forward, taking at least 2 per game. I think a big reason for this is her shot mechanics. Reese is almost like a scoop shot on her layups, which means if she doesn't have the right angle under the basket, it can lead to inaccurate aim. You can see it clearly on a play like this one, where she collects the ball below her hip and then softly scoops it up without much force. And so, because her layups are almost too soft, shooting scoop shots in front of a contesting defense actually makes it harder for her to control where the shot ends up. You can clearly see it here, where Alyssa Thomas contests her drive well, and even though this is a good angle to get a shot off, she doesn't have great ball control and hand-eye coordination to convert on these looks. And even though Reese has amazing leg strength, she lacks the power to drive through minor contact. Watch how this little armbar by Dearica Hamby actually pushes Reese towards the baseline instead of powering up towards the basket, so she has to jump backwards just to get a good angle to shoot. So now that you know what makes her so polarizing, what about her defense? Well, I think Reese is a very good pick and roll defender, and she has amazing hands to blow up pocket passes. And these great hands make her a pretty respectable isolation defender against players that don't have a quick change of direction. This is an insane display of her hands, where she blows up Nneka's drive here before she can even dribble. She's also a very disciplined defender, staying vertical on contests like this at the rim, but she's not really a rim protector, totaling only 2 blocks on the entire season. I think a lot of this is due to Chicago's scheme. Teresa Weatherspoon has had Reese defending mostly 3s and 4s, so that means she's further away from the basket, whereas it's possible in a different situation she could tally up more blocks. But again, I don't think this is a foregone conclusion. She doesn't have the size to defend centers like either of the Joneses, which means the same low post position strategy she uses on smaller players is exactly what centers can effectively use on her. And she gets caught ball watching a little more than what would be normal for a help side rim protector. She's beat on backdoor cuts quite a few times this season, which is why I think her on-off defensive metrics have waned quite a bit since Elizabeth Williams' Achilles injury. Before going down, EW was clearly the best defender on the team, and the team has thrived in a role that has asked less of Reese as a help side defender and more of a perimeter and pick and roll defender. Despite the flaws, impact metrics still view Reese as the most impactful rookie in the game. She leads every rookie in on-off and net differential by a wide margin, but it's also worth pointing out that this is still a small sample and that Chicago and New York are the only teams with multiple players in the top 15 in net differential. Having Kennedy Carter, the best offensive player on the team, and Lindsay Allen taking over the minutes for DeShields and Evans has certainly made Reese's impact metrics on offense look greater than they probably are. However, what is undeniable is her defensive impact. I wouldn't say she's the best or the second best defensive rookie in this class, but what she's been asked to do is extremely valuable in Chicago's defensive scheme and could not easily be replicated by just anyone. So if you ask me, I think what Reese brings as a rebounder and small ball defender are immensely valuable in ways the box score doesn't fully capture. And even though she plays in a situation that allows her to jack up low efficient shots to boost her scoring value, Chicago would be a considerably worse team without her. Reese isn't someone I think who can be the best or even second best offensive player on a team, but WNBA teams win when they have multiple scoring options, and when Reese is next to scorers with playmaking and off-ball value, she's a tremendous all-star level sidekick, so impactful that she has a strong case to be Rookie of the Year because of it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it to the end, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. Also, check out my previous breakdowns on women's basketball players. My goal is to make a video on at least all of the notable rookies in this class, so if there's a player that you really want to see or a team you really want me to cover, let me know. Also, in the comments, let me know who you would vote for Rookie of the Year if the race ended today. Let's keep it cordial in the comments, y'all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.